Hey guys, I'm George, the nice medic gentleman, and it's time for your dose of some fragrance content. And it's also time for another episode of Fragrance Duels. In today's episode of Fragrance Duels, I'll put head-to-head pair of fragrances that come from the brands of Afnan, Rue Broca, Lattafa, Fede, Paris Corner, and Fragrance World. As usual, I'm putting head-to-head fragrances that are either cloning the same original fragrance or have been very heavily inspired and can serve as an alternatives to the same original fragrance. Now, the first pair that I'm going to feature in today's video consists of two fragrances, of course. One of them comes from the brand of Paris Corner and it's called Rayhaan, and the other one comes from the brand of Fragrance World and it's called Bubbly. And of course, the main thing that these two fragrances have in common is the fact that both of them are cloning the same original fragrance, which is Baby Cat from the brand of YSL, the private line of YSL. Now, in the cases of the two fragrances, the one from Paris Corner, Rayhaan, has actually been around for quite a while. This was one of the very first Middle Eastern clones of Baby Cat. And actually to this day, this remains a very nice clone, a very nice alternative of Baby Cat. It's the scent profile is very similar to the original fragrance. You're getting that vanilla-based scent that has a lot of suede leather, that has a bit of spices, has a bit of smokiness, maybe has a hint of tobacco, and all around this is again one of the very first clones of Baby Cat, and to this day remains a great option. The good things about this fragrance is that it will get you close to the original fragrance, first of all. The second thing is that it has a really good performance. It's a pretty strong, lasts for a long time, projects really nicely. And the third good thing about this particular one, is the fact that it remains very affordable. You can still find this one for around about 25 euros here in Europe, so roughly around about $30, which is basically the fraction of the cost of the original scent. When it comes to Bubbly from Fragrance World, this is a new release from Fragrance World. The fragrance itself, I think, became widely available in the beginning of 2025. So, you know, this has been released a few years after Rayhaan, but it's a very interesting and a nice scent on its own. Again, it has a very similar scent profile to the original fragrance. You know, the vanilla, the suede leather, the smokiness, the spiciness, a bit of tobacco, and it's done pretty nicely. I think Fragrance World have done a really nice job, and it's one of the newest, if not the newest alternative or a clone of Baby Cat, especially when it comes to the cheaper side of things. Now, if I have to name a winner when it comes to the scent profile and which one actually is closer to the original fragrance, I would go with Bubbly, because Rayhaan has always felt like a little bit of a sweeter, slightly more oriental take on the scent profile of Baby Cat. Now, again, don't get me wrong, I think Rayhaan is a great fragrance on its own, but I think Bubbly just feels a little bit closer, a little bit more true to the original scent from YSL. So if you're looking for something that will get you closer to the original scent and you have to choose between those two, I would say you have to go with Bubbly by a very slim margin. But that's probably the only thing that Bubbly has going for it, because when we talk about performance, in my personal experience, Rayhaan is actually the fragrance that lasts longer and also projects better. I would say it will give me, at least on my skin, this lasts for at least an hour, maybe even over an hour longer than Bubbly, and also projects better. It has a stronger projection. So this is the stronger fragrance. When it comes to the price tag, they're pretty much equally priced, although I think Bubbly is slightly cheaper, at least around here. This could be found for around about 5 euros less than Rayhaan. And it also comes in a 80 ml bottle size, where Rayhaan is 75 ml. So Bubbly is slightly cheaper and will get you a little bit more fragrance for your money. But if I have to name an overall winner in this first pair, I would say the winner will be Rayhaan. Yes, it feels a little bit further away to the original fragrance, but still in the air smells very similar to Baby Cat. But in my books, the good things about this one, and the fact that the reason why I'm going to choose Rayhaan as the winner, is the fact that it overall just offers better performance. In fact, way better performance. So for a few extra euros, you'll just get a fragrance that will still get you smelling very similar to Baby Cat, but will last a lot longer than Bubbly. Now, for the second pair of today's episode of Fragrance Duels, I'm going with a very popular scent profile right now, which is the scent profile of Jean Paul Gaultier's Le Male Elixir. but it's for those of you who like Le Male Elixir but want something a little bit fresher than the original fragrance, and both fragrances that I'm going to show you right now are doing that thing. They come from the brands of Lattafa, that one is called The Kingdom, and from Le Fate, that one is called Intoxicate Blue Elixir. I recently reviewed this one. It's a pretty new fragrance to the market. It has been around for a few months, whereas Lattafa The Kingdom came out I think in the early fall last year, so it's been around for a while, and it was one of the very first Middle Eastern clones from a major brand of Le Male Elixir. Now, as I said, both fragrances are inspired by Le Male Elixir, but both fragrances have a twist, a fresher twist, so they focus a little bit more on the aromatic side of the original scent rather than the sweetness and the tobacco. The original is known for having a bit of mintiness, having a bit of lavender, and then having the sweetness of a honey note, a tonka bean, vanilla, and tobacco. And both fragrances here, Blue Intoxicate Blue Elixir and Lattafa The Kingdom, they have pretty much the same note breakdown. They rely on the same notes, but they have the focus turned on a little bit more on the aromatic side, a little bit more on the freshness, and a little bit more on the lavender compared to the original fragrance. So these two fragrances are for those of you again who like Le Male Elixir but just find it to be a little bit too thick, a little bit too sweet. These two will give you a little bit more freshness, a little bit more of an aromatic scent. Now, when it comes to how close to the original they are, I think they feel equally further away from the original because they offer that more aromatic and slightly fresher twist. When it comes to the quality, again, I can't name a winner because both of them offer very, very respectable quality considering their price tag. When it comes to their performance, again, they're pretty much equal. At least on my skin, they tend to last pretty much the same amount of time, meaning around about the 8-hour mark of total longevity. Maybe the one from Le Fate offers a slightly better projection in my personal experience, but I'm talking about a very, very small difference, so I will not name Le Fate Intoxicate Blue Elixir as the better performing fragrance. It's just simply my personal experience, and you may have a slightly different experience, so I would go with the, I will go in the direction that both of them actually last equally the same, they project equally the same. The prices, again, they can vary a little bit, but I personally got them for a similar pricing. Lattafa The Kingdom, I paid around about 30 euros when it came out, a little bit over, I think 35, but nowadays this is a little bit cheaper, around about 30 euros, and the same goes for the Le Fate one. It's usually cost somewhere between 25, 6, 7, 30 euros, say. So the pricing is again very, very equal, so I would not name a winner in this pair. I'm going to end this pair in a draw because I think they do equally good job, but I'm going to try to give you an advice. If you have to narrow it down to those two, which one should you choose? In my experience, Le Fate Intoxicate Blue Elixir is ever so slightly fresher than Lattafa The Kingdom. So if you want, if you like the original scent profile of Le Male Elixir but just want something fresher, then the freshest option here is Le Fate Intoxicate Blue Elixir. So you can go with this one. If you don't mind a little bit more sweetness and something that maybe feels ever so slightly closer to the original fragrance, then you can go with Lattafa The Kingdom. But for me personally, this second pair, this second round of today's fragrance duels will end up in a draw between these two. And the last pair of fragrances that I'm going to show you in today's video and that I'm going to compare, again, both of them are very heavily inspired by the same original fragrance, which is a personal favorite of mine, and I'm talking about Bulgari's Tiger. And the two fragrances actually come from the same manufacturer, although they're sold under different brands, and I'm talking about Turati Blue from Afnan and Rue Broca TRM. Again, Rue Broca is a sub-brand of Afnan, so basically it's the same manufacturer but two different brands. But the fragrances inside are not exactly the same. They have a few smaller differences. Now, scent-wise, I would say that maybe Rue Broca's TRM actually feels a little bit closer to the original fragrance because Turati Blue is a little bit like a slightly sweeter take on the original scent. So both of them rely, just like the original fragrance, on the notes of some citruses. You got the muskiness of the original fragrance, you got the woodiness, you got the spiciness, you got the ambery sweetness, and you know, both of them are very, very nice interpretations of the original scent, but I think Rue Broca's TRM just feels a little bit closer because Turati Blue is just overall a slightly sweeter take on Bulgari's Tiger. But they both smell absolutely fantastic. When it comes to the quality though of the scent, I would say that the Afnan offers better quality, and it's the more expensive fragrance. I'll talk about the pricing a little bit later on, but it's the more expensive fragrance, and in my opinion that you can easily tell that by the, you know, the quality of the scent itself. When it comes to performance, both of them are good performers. They will last on my skin for at least 8 hours, but I would say that the one from Afnan Turati Blue offers a little bit a better projection. And that's why I think it's a slightly better performer. And when it comes to the price tag, now again this can vary depending on where you live in the world, but at least around here, you know, Rue Broca TRM usually costs somewhere around about the 25 euro mark nowadays, whereas Turati Blue is around about 30 euro, so it's a little bit more expensive, but in my opinion offers a slightly better performance and offers a higher quality definitely on its scent profile. So if you want something with higher quality and slightly better performance and you have to choose between those two, I would say go with Turati Blue. Also, if you want something with a little bit more sweetness, if you want something that stays a little bit more true to the original scent profile and something that costs cheaper, then go with the Rue Broca TRM. But for us, when it comes to the winner in this couple, I'm going to go with Turati Blue simply because of the better quality. So guys, in today's video I compared a total of 6 fragrances from different brands: Paris Corner, Fragrance World, Le Fade, Lattafa, Afnan and Rue Broca. I hope that you found this video interesting to watch or helpful. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me in my next video for your dose of some fragrance content. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.